Hello, welcome to Weegie Warriors, and well, that was some show, wasn't it? So, as as before, we've been watching the Eurovision from start to finish. We're going to bring you our views and opinions on that. But for that, I need my trusted friend and Euro expert, ladies and gentlemen. It's that man again. It's Ray Fordyce.
Hello.
Hey. Now,
nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's been good doing this, isn't it? I mean, I've really enjoyed sort of since I took over the Weegie Warriors page. I mean, I think it's been quite good. Oh shit, it's the real owner!
Yes, it is I, my friends. Andrew Durning from Ginger Media Limited has arrived. I figured I've been editing all of your faking videos, so I might as well come in and interact with the team.
Hello.
Yes.
I did love the pantomime villain entrance there.
Yes, well, I figured I had to just go for it. Why not? Why not?
You're just missing the curly tash and
Yeah. I have tried several times to curl it, but it just looks like it goes like ginger, and then because of the gel, it just goes black, and it's like it does not look good. So I just stick with the evil beard. I just stick with the beard.
Yeah, there's many yeah, there's been many times where I've tried to masquerade as evil Andrew Durning. So
yes, and that was actually how you wound up with 2 shows on my channels. So yeah, it worked out quite well. Yeah, you're still the reigning undefeated Super Fights champion. So
well, sadly, I lost that crown when I took that to another show at the Fringe. But you know, it's like WWE. You're trying to get to at least 2 belts in the go, and then I'm the undisputed champion. And I'm only saying that because you cut my Rose Ginger joke out of the first one. So,
well, somebody had to. The thing is, your wife was on the episode that was just airing, so it was like, yeah. But one thing you'll learn about Ginger Media Limited stuff, Ray, is that if I like you, there are plenty of other channels that you can come on and spout any other madness. So you have done very well. I've been loving your knowledge. I love your personality. So you're more than welcome to come back on to another channel another day if you so choose.
Oh, thank you very much. I would be honoured to.
Thank you. And how have you enjoyed the experience as well? What being part of My Madness?
It's been great fun. It's been nice to talk about something that I absolutely love. Eurovision, one of my favorite times of the year. So yeah, it's just been nice to just come on, talk rubbish about it, and get away with it, basically. Because when I talk about it with my friends, they're like, "Oh, shut up! I didn't like it."
Well, it's been an honour to have you on, and I'm very grateful that you reached out to come on the channel to talk about it, and hopefully we can get you back again next year, if you're willing.
Oh, thanks very much. Yep.
Excellent.
Well, it's just my usual hosting duties just coming out, and I'm like, I have to step back. This is Christopher's run. I'll let the other ginger.
You'll always be the gaffer of Ginger Media Limited.
Do I have to dye my hair ginger for the next one?
No.
It's strawberry blonde if you like.
Well, it's always been you don't have to be ginger at work here, but it helps. Right.
Okay. Cool.
You're Scottish, that works out well.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's get on it. So we had the Eurovision Grand Final on the 13th of May, Saturday the 13th of May. They're being held in Liverpool. Just as on it, my wife Debbie was mentioned there. So peppered through this video, we're going to have a couple of her reactions to some of the Eurovision entries that she saw. If you're wondering where the other half of of that quality podcast, the Ginger Games Board is, she's going to be providing us with some sort of comic relief moments as we go through. So let's sort of go straight from the start. So with the Eurovision Song Contest final, you have last year's winners perform in front of the group. So what did we think of the sort of opening to this year's contest? So Ray, keep us right. The winners in 2023 rumors of 2020 were obviously the Ukraine. So the band and who they are.
What I loved about it was quite inclusive of a lot of other Ukrainian acts. It had Goe from 2021, Tina Carroll, I think, was from 2006 or 2007. And of course, they had to have Verka Serduchka. Now, she was from 2007. And diehard Eurovision fans will know Verka is an absolute legend in the Eurovision Hall of Fame. So it was only right that she was in it as well. But they did a good job of interspersing the original song Stefania with some of the other performers that were in there. So what I loved about it was a general theme of the whole thing of just making it really inclusive of Ukraine, even though it was being held in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, the general theme was sort of united by music. So
yeah,
you got that great shot of the Kalush Orchestra sort of opening, and then you got to, I mean, getting Princess Catherine was a nice touch, I must admit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Andrew Lloyd Webber, I mean, I suppose that was more just to wake you up, but
yeah,
he's not a bonny lad, let's be honest.
Well, neither am I.
No. Yeah, well, you didn't. Yeah, well, you didn't write Cats, right?
I mean, to be fair, Cats the stage musical's fine. The movie is what butchered it.
Oh god.
Yeah. Apparently, the movie is starting to fall into the. Yeah, it's starting to fall into the Room territory of it's so bad it's good, and I'm like, don't insult the Room.
Yeah, I've not seen the Room, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. That's the pinnacle of so bad it's good, definitely.
All right. The one movie I think of that is Troll 2. Because it has a cult following of being so bad it's good.
Yeah.
That's the one about the vegetarian trolls that poison people's cake. So they basically they'll grow vegetables and they can eat them. Or something stupid like that. Spoiler alert.
Like that. Something like that. My niece would be able to tell you better. Like she's 7. Like she would be able to tell you better than what's going on. But,
yeah,
it's like I'm more Thomas the Tank Engine. You need knowledge on that. That's my bag.
Okay, cool.
Talking for other work in the media channels again, right?
Yeah. In terms of like the actual opening, well, I liked it, but I do think there was too much Britain. But because we were the hosts by default because their country is being ravaged by war, and I was like, and I'm like, well, yes, we are the host country, but I wanted more of Ukraine, because they were the winners. Like having maybe just the odd little pepper, like the little cameo from Kate and the cameo from Andrew Lloyd Webber. Well, that would have been fine for me. We didn't need so much Britain. Well, it was like we were going. It's like we got this on a technicality. Yay, the war! I was like, it's the wrong message you're trying to send, guys. Yeah, I want more of Ukraine, please. And I just want to see more of that hat. That pink hat was brilliant. I love that hat.
Oh, that's good stuff. That, like I say though, I think hosted well certainly because obviously you had their national presenters Hannah Waddington, Alicia Dixon, and Graham Norton. Also the Ukrainian presenter Julia Sanina.
Yeah, and I think all 4 of them did a really good job. Graham Norton especially because he was running between like hosting and then running back to the commentary booth, and then Mel Goodroich was doing the sort of in between bits. But even when she wasn't hosting, there was a bit later on in where she was taking the piss out of the milk churners.
Yes,
from the Polish entry from 2014.
Yes, give her an NTA just for that. That was amazing.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, all 4 of the hosts were great in their own little way.
Midroy, phenomenal, and just I like to say liked Mel's addition to the lineup. I think Graham and Mel should tag team it from now on. To be honest, I quite like to see that.
Yeah, I thought it was quite refreshing
All right,
having that as well.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I just totally jumped in. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll add it to make sure that you're heard, nobody else is. Right. I think going back to I think Mel's that technically makes Mel the first female British commentator for the Eurovision.
Well, certainly for the grand final, she has done commentating duties for the semi-finals.
I know Laura Whitmore did sort of semi-finals as well, but for the grand final, that probably makes the first female commentator. So no, I think more of that, please. Is what I'd like to say.
Absolutely.
What else is about the opening ceremony? Oh we'll maybe get onto this a bit later on. But what do you think about? Actually, we'll sort of leave that for a bit because they had the announcement that Luxembourg may be re-entering the Eurovision next year. Who were the old grandmasters of it. We'll leave that until the end. We'll talk about Euro 2024, but let's sort of press on with the acts for now. So we'll start with Austria's. We'll start with the sort of first one to go about was Austria and Who the Hell is Edgar? Now, I think this is definitely one of the sort of fan favourites for it, and kind of broke my heart that actually the Group T and Selena that actually sort of sent text saying that we tried our hardest, but we didn't do well because that's the one everybody was humming right up until the voting. I could hear people going po 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 po.
We now know what the favourite Teletubby is.
Yes, that's true. Oh yeah, well, they wouldn't really have much for looking if it was called Dipsy 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 Dipsy, would it?
Yeah, Edgar Allan Tinky Winky doesn't quite. Edgar Allan Lala would certainly make interesting poetry.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
Yep.
So then we have Portugal and Mimi Cat. Not much to say in that. Just
it was fun. It was jolly. But she was in the cursed second position.
Yeah, nobody's ever won the second position.
No country has ever won performing second.
It was a bit kind of like Marilyn Monroe-esque with her style and the kind of vibe that she was presenting as well when she was performing. But like I say, second is never a good spot to be in.
Yeah, I felt a wee bit more sort of flamenco-y because of the way she was kind of sort of swinging her dress and the kind of kind of it felt kind of like that.
Yeah, it was like
even
she done
Spanish.
Well, the Spanish entry, they just blew that out of the water straight away. So.
Yeah, I know flamenco's a Spanish thing, but that's what Portugal felt like this year.
Definitely.
Yep. To be honest, it just made me want to have an Nando's, but then again, I was quite hungry already. Anyway, moving swiftly on before I get healed up for that. Now, Switzerland with water gun next. Definitely brought a water gun to a knife fight. Anyway, moving on. Right.
It was all right.
Terrible. Right. It's just once you've heard ballad after ballad, you think, okay, bored now. Okay, next is Poland and Blanca was solo.
It was very Barbie-ish. My wife said.
Yeah. The one thing I will say to her, I watched her national final performance, and her vocals were terrible. But on the grand final, her vocals were much better, so I'll give her that. And the song's kind of catchy, but it was a bit overshadowed.
Yeah, it was kind of had like early 90s pop vibes about it. Like, I just didn't like the over reliance on the special effects. It felt like that was trying to compensate for the lacking of vocal ability, in my opinion.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. Okay. Serbia next. Luke Black and Salomina Spava.
I put the notes. I said I thought Alison spiked my drink.
See, I rated this quite highly.
Some good stage craft for that.
Yeah, because it was very different, but I think maybe the voting public just thought it was too different.
Yeah,
but I liked it because it stood out with all the effects and the atmosphere, and everything, but
You know, Christopher has had a couple of puns in, so I've got to throw in a couple that relate to this one. I put down that I thought it was a poor man's placebo, but I was not running up that hill. That's my first one.
Clever.
And the second one was me just saying it sounds like Optimus Prime is shagging Skrillex.
Right,
It just didn't.
That.
What? I know he was going for a kind of video game-esque horror vibe. It just did not sit. What? And I count myself as a casual. What? So if it was me, the other audience would have thought that too.
Yeah, one thing really, really knocked me is when they put the health bar up in the middle. I thought, no, off. That's it for me.
So I'm the only one here that actually liked it then.
It was all right. It was serviceable, but like I say, if you
I liked when it went game over.
Yeah, if you use video game gimmicks, I'm like,
yeah. Actually,
okay, you're just trying to do something that's been done since the 90s, and then again, not very well.
Yeah. I found a lot of the songs, a lot of performance, like there seemed to be a lot of like, for me, there could have been a lot of video game references. Like obviously, you made a nod to Blanka being a character in Street Fighter from Poland, and there was that, and then there was a few other entries or performances that looked like they could have come straight out of a video game.
That's true.
That's true.
Cool. All right. Next up was France and Lazara with Évidemment. I can't say I kind of like that one. I thought it'd do a lot better, but
I did. I liked that one. It's like she had a very sassy style to her performance, and
yeah,
I thought it was quite glamorous.
She reminded me of like a discount version of Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a good song. I just thought the presence was very kind of middling, because the first thing I thought was, who the fuck bought her dress to BFG?
Certainly,
but overall, yeah, I thought I was still praying she didn't have vertigo. Let's stand on that.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that we'd had like big kind of over the top kind of production-y stuff, and then to have it kind of stripped down back to the basis where it's just a performer singing a song and just using their charm, and I was okay with it. But it was very middling, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get on to how they fared later on and what happened, because that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Not yet. Nope. Still got another 20 acts to get through. So Cypress and Andrew Lambrew, Breaking Broken Hearts. Again, we're back in the ballad stroke slow song territory, and you know,
I thought vocally he was quite
like overkill.
Yeah.
Vocally, I thought he was quite impressive. Yeah, a bit of overkill on the fire effects, but Cypress is getting known for overusing flame effects on their staging.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah, it was a bit X Factor finally, especially because you had the flames and the kind of leaning down, crunching and singing into the mic kind of thing as well. And I was like, it reminded me very much of an X Factor final, but at the same time, the vocal, he had a good vocal range.
Cool. Next one, Spain and Blanca Paloma, which means white dove, because my language is great. EA Spanish. Ray, you made many jokes about Old McDonald at that point, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, because AI, and I thought I was half expecting it to come a well. Vieja McDonald tuvo una granja, but no, it was this sort of very vocal, shaky. Almost sounded kind of Arabesque, like the vocals wouldn't have sounded out of place on a documentary about the pyramids.
That's true.
Yeah, it was very. There was like you say, a lot of vibrato in there, and like make the music seem out of sync with her lyrics at times.
Yeah, but I think what sold it is her vocal power, that she could hold her note and do that sort of vibrato thing for the amount of times that she did do it in that song, be able to hold notes. So was what was the selling point of that one.
Yeah,
That's true. Okay. Next on Sweden and Loreen with Tattoo. Again, everybody's favourite going into this, and I've got to say she did deliver it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing about Lorraine is if you remember her performance from Euphoria in 2012, she knows how to bring an atmosphere to her songs. So that's what really sold it. Is she brings the atmosphere with the lighting effects and the big sort of sandwich toaster thing that she was on with the light effects was really impressive. So
yeah, I am going to be the controversial one here, but I was not a fan. In all honesty, well, I understand. I understand why she was the favorite, and I appreciated like the song choices. But, at some points, I did think that she was having a seizure with the way that she was performing. Like her Edward Scissorhands, that kind of style with her nails. Like I don't understand that. Like, apparently, they were like made of stone, and I'm like, come on, like it's not like you're not fighting Wolverine here. Like you can. And her outfit was very, very Ghost in the Shell for me. Well, I think if it was anybody, if you put that in, like Scarlett Johansson again, and then that was you're in a whitewash scandal. Well, but I think it was the thing of I loved her voice, I loved her passion. It just didn't need the gimmicks for me. Well, I think her just doing it with the sold it, but again, I'm watching it from the casual fan perspective. You guys are watching it from I'll watch it every year and be like, right, let's see what's here, what's that. You guys would watch it in your detail and deep diving and studying and you know your stuff. Yep. So I'm just obviously coming from my tinfoil hat perspective.
That is fair because I was watching it with Debbie, whose reactions were seeing, and she was like you, Andrew. She was sort of listening to that and going, "Is there something I'm not getting here? I mean, it's all right, but it's not great."
Yeah,
and I can kind of see it from that point. Yeah, a lot of it is, well, are you doing well at this contest because you did well before, or is it just you're not? But like I said, we'll get onto that when we talk about the results because what we're asked to get through.
Yeah.
So the next one was Albania and Albina and the Familia Kelmendi, or the Kelmendi family.
Mm-hmm.
It's always interesting seeing a big family act on stage.
Yep.
Family acts are a huge risk. Like in any media. Like in any media, because you're instantly thinking of the nepotism bug. And you also get the jokes of incest, keep it in the family.
Yay.
Well, you get them too. But the demonic ritual chanting at the start, for me, was the best part of it.
I think the other funny thing was watching the brother at the back who just looked like he just really wasn't going to be there. Oh, he just didn't want to be there.
Yeah, it looked like he was thinking what he was going to have to eat afterwards.
Yeah, because the mum and the dad, they were like really, they were smiling and they were giving it, and then the two sisters came in, and they were like, and then the brother was just like, "Oh, do I have to?
Yeah. Do it for your sister. Do it for your sister."
That pretty much it.
Yeah.
Being an older brother, I can't sympathise with that. Anyway, before we bring up any bad memories for me, let's move on. Okay, next was Italy and Marco Mingioni and Due Vite. I gotta admit, that was my favourite of the big five. I remember we were talking about this in our previous podcasts, which are obviously downloadable through the Weegie Warrior YouTube channel.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Pressing the button, the electric shocks me. So,
yeah, I agree with you.
But no, generally, I thought that was a well done performance. Again, I thought, I generally thought it was quite a contender.
Yeah, and I had a feeling the juries were going to really like that one because it just seems to play into the jury's thing of like really passionate vocals. And he's able to announce his words properly when he sings, and like really proper passionate, like really powerful, like when he has to hit high notes.
Yeah, it was like the advert for a Eurovision song for me. If you were looking for one that was like it would cover all the bases, that was it. But I personally think that he had more sparkle in his shirt than he did on stage.
Yeah,
Like,
but I will say, because he's represented Italy before in 2013, and this year he was like light years better than he was in 2013.
Okay, Estonia next, and Alika with Bridges.
I like the self-playing piano.
That was nice.
Yeah,
I had so much fun doing that Mario 64 GIF.
Yeah, the haunted piano joke.
Really fun.
It didn't stand out, but it had its moments, kind of thing. Like the way she belted out her last few notes was what sold it for me. But given all the other power of all the other songs, it was a bit overshadowed, I think. But I'll give her due. She's as we say in Scotland, she's got a good set of pipes on her.
Absolutely, enjoyed that.
Yep. And like by the way she performed, she was all shoulders. A lot of shoulder padding there.
A lot of shoulder going on there. Cool. Next, Finland. Right now. We actually got a complaint from one of the early podcasts because I didn't say this right, and then I got a complaint that you corrected me and you got it either way. So for Miko, if he's watching, hi. Karia and Cha Cha Cha.
Yeah. Well, how did I say it last
time? I looked that video you sent me and I got that correct. So there, right.
All right. Well, Karia, yeah.
Karia.
This was
Karia.
Karia Cha Cha. This was possibly the most fun song of the whole night. I was going to say the way I did that whole box thing, like peering in, and then knocking bits out, and then the bit where he came out, bashed the top bit, and then everything about it was just fun. It was just really entertaining to watch. And yeah, he's definitely that was the performance that I think had the most charisma and the most personality. He was really lively and yeah, loved it.
He definitely had charisma.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
He definitely owned it. My own personal opinion was I fucking hated it.
Get out now.
I did. I'm sorry. It was too much for me. The part where it looked like he was fucking the human centipede was just awful. I was like, get what? It was just like one of those. I was like, when did they allow S&M on Eurovision? Well, at some point,
2019 when Iceland brought Thin Hattery.
I think that was about 1998. They started doing that.
Oh, was it? Oh, right, okay.
Sorry, Andrew, we've got all the statistics right here. So
yeah, it's like this person for me. This was my worst act until a certain act that happened later on down the line. But I just did not like it. I hated it. My wife hated it. We just thought, no, we didn't understand. But I've got to say, he owned it. The crowd loved it. And if they loved it, and everybody and people watching it thought it's good, that's all that matters. It's a good time. So fair play to him if he is watching. But I prefer Blind Channel a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Blind Channel is good. Like I say,
Blind Channel's amazing.
One of the things I quite like about sort of Eurovision is they have their own deaf interpreters who do the music for people who have deafness. And Blind Channel 2 years ago was one of my favourites because they sometimes get in a deaf interpreter that just goes absolutely balls to the wall for it. And this woman who did it is absolutely fantastic. Have a look at the sort of deaf channel interpretation of the Blind Channels thing in YouTube. It's just worth seeing it. This interpreter steals the show massively. Okay. Cool. Let's sort of halfway through. Okay, so next was the Czech Republic, or Czechia, as the represented themselves in this contest with Vesna and My Sister's Crown. Again, I think they're a bit unlucky because they already got done in by the Norwegian entry for for a crown stroke royal themed type song that was a bit better than theirs.
Mhm. Yeah.
It was the Pepto Bismol cult with a cat of nine tails hair, is what I called them.
Yeah.
What, what the song was all right, but just something really felt off about it to me. Like I felt uncomfortable watching it. I don't know why, but yeah, for me, I felt uncomfortable watching it. But I mean, it's
It
just
looked
still
like
been brilliant
Six
from
without
Finland.
the costume. It looked like that musical Six without the costume budget, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they just kind of look like they'd all got out of bed because they're all in pink pajamas, and I just as soon as they come on, I just thought they'll be wearing pink pajamas when they come. And then they had the long hair, and I just
Yeah.
kept. As soon as I saw that, I just thought Victoria Wood. I've done a plan. It's right. It is that.
Oh
Very
man.
nice. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Next was Australia and Voyager with Promise. That was a banger. Absolutely.
My favorite of the night. My favorite.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, love the vibe, love the energy, love the vocals. The only thing I didn't like was, and this is bad coming from me because I love like my metal music and stuff, having the random scream and it actually took it out of it for me. They should have just stuck with just the singing. Like there was plenty of time for Germany's act to cover that side of it. But everything else about it felt fresh. It was dynamic. They were so psyched to be there. Concerning the route to get there, I loved it. For me, that was a night, and I was so glad that they got a lot of the recognition they deserved at the end.
I was so happy they qualified. Like I said, the little patch the last couple of years with Australia qualifying, and I'm so glad they made it through this time because that absolutely popped for me. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah. This is one of those songs when we went into the contest, I wasn't a big fan. I just thought it got a bit lost. But the way they delivered it on stage, it was one of those saved by the staging songs because I thought the way they staged it was brilliant. And then, yeah, like you say, they just seemed to have a lot of charisma. They seemed to like really want to be there and like really sell the song on stage. So one of those where I think, yeah, staging saved it.
That was good. Cool. Right, next Belgium and Gustav because of you. No, this is Debbie's favourite. She absolutely loved this and just proper 90s vibes, just right from the outset, but good ones, like not like the pitch some of the pitch we had earlier with like the girl bands. This was proper 90s feel good music. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I had a feeling he would be a bit of a dark horse because apparently in the national final he wasn't the favourite to win. And then the fans got a bit bitter because he won. And then, but as soon as I listened to it first time, I thought, I like this. There's something about this. And I think that if he stages it well, he's going to do really well. When he was getting the scores and he was getting a couple of 12 points, he was getting really emotional. I thought it was really sweet. But yeah, he seems like a really nice, as well as being a great singer and being able to hit all the notes. He seems like quite a nice guy as well.
Yeah, and again, he was glad to be there. Like I think that's one of the things maybe I wasn't too fussed about with Sweden because she'd been there before. It felt very much like I'm going through the motions. I've done this. I've been there, done that. I've won. Whereas these ones were like, we're so happy to be here. We didn't think we would be. Let's do it. But he does look like the love child of Sam Smith and Boy George. But in a nice way because I absolutely love these outfits.
Hey, I'll take to see that, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, next one, Armenia and Brunettes with Future Lover. Or Armenia and Grande, as I like to call her.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
For me, it was like a kind of back to bland. After such high octane energy ones that we had, I know we needed that to kind of reset everything, but it just didn't sit with me. The break dancing kind of segment felt so left field for the type of song it was doing. And having a random rap bit in a ballad. I was like, okay, I admire the guts, but there was no glory.
It's been done, I think, is the only
Yeah.
things to say about that. Ditto Moldova. Next is Pasha Parfeni and Solera Luna. Just again, it was just you just got to points where it was just slow one after slow one. You're thinking, oh, I really need something to break up the monotony.
Yeah.
I thought this one was all right. It's probably one of the weirdest stagings with the dwarf and the piccolo and
Yes.
the girls with the big. They kind of look like they're a way to do a sort of live action horoscope.
My wife just said to me, she's like, I wonder how long it took to do their hair.
Yeah.
That was all she had to say for me. What? But
Yeah.
there's nothing like a random ritual sacrifice in the middle of a Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah. That's kind of what it felt
Yeah.
like.
So next we had the host country, Ukraine, Forty with Heart of Steel. Now, nobody seemed to go for this very much. I kind of liked it. That's the kind of music I would listen to.
I thought it was an impressive song. It's an earworm. It was something that was going to get stuck in your head. I was impressed with the visuals and also the fact that it was still low key, but the visuals were still really strong with how they presented it. You knew it wasn't going to be a winner by any stretch of the imagination, but they did themselves proud again.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about the conditions that they need to record that under, then it's impressive.
Definitely.
To be honest.
I was just going to say, I just agree with what you've said. Impressive visuals and a song that I actually quite liked. And yeah, just repeating what you guys just said.
Well, to be fair, the thing about when they had the thing with the metallic arm and the red eye, just all it made me think was the Cyborg from Teen Titans because I'm very childish. So
I was
at first I thought that too.
See, I was thinking Kano from Mortal Kombat, the guy with the big metal patch.
Yeah. Then I just thought Terminator straight after.
Okay, so Norway and Alessandra, Queen of Kings, was next. Now, like I say, that was was already a song like that from Czech Republic, but that's how you do it properly. That was good.
Yeah. This was Alison's favourite of the night.
No notes, as they say. Right.
Yeah. But no, the way she was dressed kind of felt like she was about to give you a side quest in Dragon Age, but
my notes actually said that I thought that she was a Loki variant.
Yeah.
As well. So I liked her stage presence and her style. Alison loved her. She loved her voice. Norway was Alison's song of the night, and I couldn't exactly argue that she really she delivered.
Okay, next one, Germany and Lord of the Lost with Blood and Glitter.
Sorry, guys, I love this. I absolutely loved it. I'm sorry. The outfits I hated, but aside from that, outfits were awful. But I love this song, because I like my metal music. I'm a fan of Rammstein and stuff like that as well.
Now I'm a fan of Rammstein as well, but I thought this was just very derivative. I thought it just made me think. Look, if you're going to go to the bother of doing a song like that, just get bloody Rammstein to represent Germany at Eurovision. It'll be a lot easier.
But they would have had like a straight up porno on that stage,
and then they would win.
Touche. I have to say, it wasn't as good as Australia was still my favourite, but I did because I'm a fan of that music and it's so underrepresented in general. It was high octane. There was a lot of energy. Outfits. I was just like, what the hell?
I'll give them the fact that it made it. At least it broke the night up a bit. I.e., probably people had fallen asleep after 16 acts, so that would have woken them quite a few folk up.
Yeah.
No, I liked it, and I think it was a bit underappreciated.
I didn't deserve to be last. Spoiler alert, in my opinion.
Absolutely not. No, I totally agree with you there.
Okay, so next is Lithuania. Monica Okay, Day and Stay.
Oh, sorry.
Me and Ray both agreed that we didn't think this should have got out of the semi-final.
This was like the Download Festival being followed by Stars in Their Eyes.
Yeah.
It sucked the energy right out of the room.
I know.
Regardless if you liked Germany or not, they brought energy, and this just went, what?
It bored me. It was my
going
toilet
to
break.
Boring. Very boring.
That's what I would call a bathroom break song.
Yeah.
I don't think we were the only ones that thought it was boring. So anyway, next, No Girl and Unicorn. Ray, you weren't a fan, were you?
It was one of those where the fandom was obviously taken in by her flashy moves, and I will give her due. There were good moves, but they just distracted from the fact that the song was just kind of generic pop stuff that I've heard about a million times before, and it might have fooled the other fans, but it didn't fool me. I just thought mediocre pop song, but look, I can do the splits and everything, and was like, yeah, that's nice, but the song,
Yeah, this put a big divide in my camp in the house. Like, Alison loved it, and she got goosebumps watching it. I thought, like you said, Ray, generic, mediocre. It felt like it was more a sex sells kind of thing with the provocative dance moves. It was like, and when she said, "Do you want to see me dance?" I would have loved to just have one Scottish guy in the audience going, "No." Because she still would have done it regardless. Yeah. And Graham Norton said that himself.
Yeah, because there's been a few
like. So actually, the time's getting on a bit, love.
Yeah. I know there's been a few like high placing songs from the last few years that try and I've done that thing of I can do flashy dance moves, but I've got a generic mediocre song. Yeah. So and this was just another one of those.
One commenter put it, it's not the Eurovision dance contest, which is a fair point. Right, 3 songs left. So next I had Slovenia and Joker out with Carpe Diem.
They reminded me of New Age indie hippies.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just one of those ones that's going to be a tricky pub quiz question.
Yeah, and it's one of those. It's not terrible. It's just not amazing.
Yeah. It was like they were trying to be indie, but not. But it was, you could tell it was like maybe people going, "You look like an indie band. Be indie," and they're like, "No, that's not our style." It kind of clashed with what they were trying to do as a band for me.
Yeah,
song was perfectly middling for
me. Okay, then we had Croatia.
No, I just said, let's stop the planet. I want to get off.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Song itself was just a hot mess. Yeah, just repetitive at the start, and then that, and then the end bit was just like, The only saving grace for it is at least it was a little bit funny.
I put in my notes that it was like Clockwork Orange meets the Carry On films.
Yeah.
It was what, and then I just put in big block letters afterwards: horrible abomination.
Yeah.
But I think at that point I was just like, oh god. God. I was praying to whatever deity could get me out of this planet.
Carry On Clockwork Orange. That'd be an interesting film. just have Kenny Williams coming. Oh, I say, why don't we go and kick the shit out of this person?
A Clockwork Orange Carry On film coming soon to Ginger Media Limited.
I'll warm up for a bit of the old ultraviolet. Yeah.
But do that, but it's set in Paisley.
Oh,
Well,
dear.
we've got our Sid James, got our Kenneth Williams. Are you going to be Barbara Windsor?
I think I could definitely give Barbara a run for her money.
Saucy.
But yeah,
Right. Okay, and then finishing that, we had me Martin for the UK with I Wrote a Song. Oh, God. I mean, I didn't want to sort of say anything when I was doing the sort of first videos, pride in it being the UK and all that, but it was garbage. I'm sorry.
it was a false dawn. Was last year, definitely. I thought they might have learned their lesson, but no.
It wasn't worst. It was just there.
Yeah, I think it
No,
exposes a
I
lot of.
I think it was bad. I mean, for a start, you could barely hear her. When you heard her, she wasn't in tune, and the song itself, it's literally the only thing I can think of is, oh my god, I didn't realize Lily Allen had a less talented cousin.
Oh, this is the side of you I love to see, Christopher, because it's very rare. You're always so nice. Yeah,
Again, you just really got to be like, we did so well with Sam Ryder last year, and finally sort of thought, right, this is what people want to see in Eurovision. And then we're just going to release that disgracing as representing us. It's just, why would you do it? Why would you do it?
I think it exposes the fact that Britain's music is very overproduced. In my opinion, like when you hear, because see when you hear that song on the radio, yeah, it might not the music genre might not be my cup of tea, but I understand why it would be there. From when you hear it in its full, edited kind of style. But then you go to do that as a live performance, and all the flaws are instantly exposed.
That's true. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just my opinion. Other people have different opinions of it, but it just did not pop for me at all. And it just, when you compare it to how well we did last year, it really is a shame. Just.
When you think of a closing song for me for anything, whether it's a festival, a concert, whatever, you want it to be high energy, kind of send the audience home happy. This was just, I honestly would have swapped Croatia and UK around, because at least you would have, at the end of Croatia, you would have thought, when it was doing the judging, you would have thought, did someone spike me? But there was still an energy there. The guys were nuts, but there was an energy. This was just like, let's do an encore, and it's all of a sudden it's Mad World, the 2004 version.
Right, so that was the 26 songs. After that, the Eurovision interval show, which again, some people like it, some people think, "Oh, just hurry up and get on with the voting." But I generally thought that some of the stuff that did was quite good. Loved seeing Netta back singing "You Spin Me Round" by Dead or Alive. That was banging.
Yeah, some of those songs were brilliant. Netta and Daddy Frere doing "Whole Again."
That was good.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
Sonia, the return of Sonia.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think that was just literally another to Ireland. What happened to them this year? It's just like, yeah. While we were in Liverpool, Sonia was done. It went down to one vote, and Ireland won. Well, who's got a record now? Hey.
But to be fair, like in those 30 years, she's not lost her magic. She's still performed it really well. So
she's
still got into the same dress. That's bloody impressive. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that with from 5 years ago.
But there's I can't get in the same dress I wore 10 years ago.
Yeah, it still fits.
We don't talk about that Fringe show, Ray. You were there, right?
Yeah. But yeah, the last one when Duncan Lawrence came up and did "You'll Never Walk Alone," that was actually quite emotional, and he really did that song justice. And then when everyone just started walking out and joining in. It was actually quite a moment. So
Yeah. I can understand the moment,
Like
but
you
to
say,
me, it did feel a little bit forced. I would have loved to have had the original "You'll Never Walk Alone" singer, because I'm a Celtic fan. When I hear that at Parkhead, like the tingles just go right up your spine. Well, I heard it when Liverpool and Celtic played each other in Europe.
Mhm.
Well, and then like
I
that
thought the
again.
guy from Jerry the Peacemaker was dead though.
Oh, I
Oh,
just
you
like
might.
everybody there. Everybody okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Sorry, it killed the
No.
mood.
Yeah,
That's all right. It's like I
Yeah,
just would have
spoiled the
liked to
mood.
have had the original singer of "You'll Never Walk
Me?
Alone" doing that,
yeah.
just to kind of tie it off. What just obviously being like a football fan and hearing that the adrenaline and the buzz you get from it. Like I remember watching when Liverpool and Celtic played each other. It was in 2003, the UEFA Cup at the time. Oh my god, it was spine tingling. Having that and having the bit at the end, I think would have worked better in my opinion. But
Mm-hmm.
they still did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's true. Like I say, you got to give it credit to we we know how to host things as a nation. I think that's a
Yeah.
biggest takeaway.
I think it's because we know we'll never do it again.
That's probably true.
Not for another 25
Which
years.
brings us nicely on to the voting. So first of all, obviously, have the jury votes. Now, so obviously, Sweden completely dominated the jury votes. 12 from nearly each country.
Yeah.
First bit of sort of conspiracy. Do you think there's maybe this was a bit of forced on sort of series?
This is why I wanted my hat.
I don't
Tinfoil
think
hat.
so. Yeah.
Different voice,
I don't
tinfoil
think
hat
so.
on. The fact that. Sorry, go ahead, Rick.
Oh no, you say your tinfoil hat thieves, and I'll just try and.
All right.
You'll
It
just
was
blow them out
noticed
the
in
water.
passing. It was noticed in passing that if Sweden won, then if they hosted it in 2024, it would be the 50th anniversary of ABBA winning for Sweden in 1974.
And
Yeah.
Which seems a bit of a that's what you're again. It's a conspiracy theory like every other conspiracy theory, but it does make you think that wow, the sort of voting juries did seem to be very very orientated on right. We're going to that we're all going to sort of collude in the same thing. But then again, they are voting on the best song. They're not sort of being swayed by that. Being swayed by other things. So it's interesting.
It was the range of conspiracy theories. I've seen everything from like the ones that you said that were more methodical and thought out to Sweden's flag is blue and yellow, Ukraine is blue and yellow. It's all about the war. Like I was just, I saw that entire spectrum and I was like, okay, tinfoil hat brigade. That's that. So
yeah.
What? So Ray, what do you think? What did you think? What were your thoughts when the judges stuff came out?
I didn't think there was a huge surprise. I knew going into it, Sweden were tipped to do very, very well. So, because she'd been that song had been like tipped to do well from the minute it was announced on the Swedish national final. And then when she won, I just I didn't hear any of the other Melody Festival songs. So I this might get my Eurovision fandom revoked, but I don't tend to watch other national final songs because I like to wait and see what the final song is, so I don't get disappointed and get my hopes up for one song when another one ends up winning.
It's not. It wouldn't revoke your Eurovision fan status. There's 37 other nations in it. You wouldn't have any spare time left, Ray, if you did all that.
Well, that's exactly it. Yeah.
You would have to be like a crazy super fan to go through all of that. We barely have enough energy to get through the one night. Well,
Yeah.
I was planning on going to my bed after the final act had performed, because I was just like I was hanging. But Alison was going to stay up to watch the results, and by the time I'd sorted bits and pieces out, the results were coming on because we'd had a bit of a delay watching it, putting the kids to bed and stuff. By the time we fast forwarded it, we'd caught up with the results. I thought, well, I'm here anyway. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And me and Alison just constantly looked at each other like, we are really out of touch, aren't we? Yep.
Yeah.
And that was basically it.
Yeah.
Like I say, the other good thing about I always like about the jury vote is the national spokespersons.
Yeah.
Nobody outright crazy this year. Well, okay, apart from
Catherine Tate.
one.
Catherine Tate. I was just a bit disappointed she didn't come in as like Nan or Lauren character, like just announcing the points, like, so 12 points to Israel. What a load of old shit!
Oh, I would love to have seen something like that.
Although one commentator did point out, at least she's accompanied by the Mitchell brothers.
Say that again? What was that? I missed that. Sorry.
There's one point a commentator did point out when I was following along. At least she was accompanied by the Mitchell brothers, so that's
nice. oh yeah, I just got that one.
Oh,
might have to put that one out there, Andrew.
Yeah.
Oh God, what was the other?
Yeah.
What was the two other noticing the national spokesperson? The guy who looked like he came from the steampunk fair.
The Icelandic guy. Yeah, he was one of the guys from Hattori.
Yeah,
he just strip off Australia.
That was good.
That was just iconic.
Oh man.
Hattori were iconic back in when they were on.
That was good. Right, so we got to the actual phone vote now. So, first thing of note, obviously they do it from who was last at that point to who was first. First thing, obviously, like I say, Dermot's took it in good humour that they went sort of rock bottom quite early on. I know, again, I could kind of see it coming from what I said earlier, but just seeing the United Kingdom slowly sinking down the bottom of the aisle as everybody's votes were coming in, I just thought, it's going to land, it's going to land, it's going to land. Literally just stopped ahead of Germany, which I thought,
yeah.
I didn't think the Germans deserved to
no,
bottom. I completely agree with you.
Not at all.
Should at least have been on the left-hand side of the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Even if not on the left-hand side of like the scoreboard, like top of the right. Because there's a lot of people that don't like that type of music. Fair dues. I totally understand that. I totally respect it. If it's not your type of music. But given the showmanship, like the style, like the passion, it did not deserve it. I even I very rarely tweet when it comes to, unless it's promoting ginger media stuff, obviously. But I put up a tweet to find these guys and say, I would have gave you the 12 points. Because I genuinely thought, I would have gave them the 10. I would have gave Australia the 12, in fairness. They did not deserve to be at the bottom. That was totally political move.
And not just not because they put in 5 for me, Martin, to come bottom and a bit better about it.
Yeah. How many points did we give the UK? Did the public give UK? Was it 9?
Yes, 9 points, and we got 15 from the jury. So I think we're one of the very rare nations who got more points from the juries than we did apart from the win. From, we'll get onto that in a minute, but apart from that, I think it was quite rare that we got so little points. And we'll move on to that a bit. My favourite bit of the night, because I mentioned this in the video while we're doing that. I've always wondered what would happen because it cuts to all these nations in front of the camera, and they've got to sit and they get told whether they've got 0 points or whether they've got a low figure, and they've just got to smile and accept it. And I'm just expecting one nation surely is going to go flip out and do that. So we came to France.
Oh
dear.
Mama
that really was
Shall I demonstrate? She was kind of like It was very much like her hand move was kind of like that, and then that kind of yeah. Now she's gone on record saying how it was misinterpreted. She was just kind of being all flashy, but
right.
kind of
yeah. I just thought channel your gaga.
Because when you hear les 5e points, they've had to faire foutre. That's exactly what you're going to do. Do a cryptic hand gesture that looks to everybody like you're flipping them off.
I just thought that was the channeling of the gaga. I genuinely thought.
Oh,
that was glorious.
Other things to note, like I say, Norway went across the table very usually. I think that was well deserved. You know, they deserved to get.
Yeah, they were like I think they were like fifth bottom in the jury, and then shot up like got 200 and odd points.
Yeah,
deservedly jumped up. Yeah,
as we said already, you know, again, it was a shame. It seemed more a shame that sort of nobody seemed to go for the Aussies. They only got about 21 points, and it just sort of stayed stagnant. And that, what a travesty, honestly.
Yeah. I think the biggest surprise was in the final results that Lithuania got so high.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that as well. There was a good sort of high amount of points there, and sort of just short of that. Again, Ukraine got quite a lot of sort of points from the televotes juries, which is understandable, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say something a bit controversial, but I thought this year's song was better than last year.
I agree with that, actually. I don't think that's controversial at all. But like I say, I would have thought.
Again, I was not a fan of the winner, but if you put the two side by side, I have to agree.
Yeah. I think, that sort of brings us on to the main point. So, do we think that Finland were robbed?
Yes.
Because Finland were clearly the home favourite. They got 379 points from the televoting jury to Sweden's 243. So people honestly thought the Sweden song was good, but it wasn't their favourite. And it sort of brings to the question, right, how come does that mean that the voting juries have more sway than the home jury? Because it seems to be the case.
Yeah. But for me, when the human centipede is up against Lady Deathstrike, there's only going to be one winner. But at the same time, as much as I was not a fan of Finland's entry, as previously discussed, the public saw something in it. When I saw that rock up, I instantly went into underdog mode. I went into I kind of do want to see this, because also he was still so full of energy, whereas the Sweden act was looking like she was about to, like somebody slipped her an Ambien. She was just going like,
Again, there was a couple of moments she was just like, 12 again.
Yeah, it felt like it was just like.
I mean, maybe I'm just like overanalyzing her reaction, but there was a couple of points at 12.
It felt like it was just like, remember like in Friends when someone would say Phoebe looked good and she'd go, "Thank you, I know though." But it felt like that. Another 12, yes, I know. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, to bring it home for the 50th.
Yeah,
and just to bring it again, when it came to the head-to-head of Sweden v Finland, other things people noticed, the French lassie fucked off around the back of the finish. She actually stormed off halfway through the rest of the votes.
I didn't even know she'd done that.
I know. I will look at sort of if you sort of put it in, punch it into Twitter, you can see the capture the actual moment where she's swanning off around the back of them when it comes to the final two.
Yeah. Oh, right. What I noticed was, see when
it's taking a grudge, and then it's taking a grudge, eh?
Yeah.
What I noticed was, see when Lady Deathstrike got up to start to make her walk down, and I saw the act that was in the soap dish, as I will always remember. Yeah, he was making a beeline, and I thought, he's going for her. Well, because it looked like he was charging like as like an insult kind of thing, and then he just kind of all of a sudden just went whoop, went the other way. And I was like, praying for a Rami.
What? I just want. So me being the big sort of soft, I thought, oh, is he going to wait to try and congratulate her, or because I know there's been a couple of instances when acts have got up, like when the winner's been announced, just to say like, oh, well done, well done. Because I remember in 2018, the Austrian guy went up to try and sort of just say well done to the Israel girl who just won, but our delegates just kind of sort of kept pushing him away, thinking he was an intruder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that's what I thought. But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he was storming it. It was about he was getting in a huff.
It cut to him a bit later, and it just looked like he was just talking to like the other acts. That I liked that the other acts seemed, aside from France, seemed very cordial with each other. Like after all the results were done,
Yeah.
like a lot of people like going up to like Israel in particular. As much as I was like, yeah, but but she was very gracious, like, and seemed to have a lot of time for the other acts to talk to them afterwards. Like, so got to give respect for that one.
I've seen clips of like backstage afterwards. There was a wee clip of Kari, the Finnish guy, was getting a wee bit upset and emotional, and the girl from Estonia was giving him a hug and then saying, "Oh, you did great. You were," and like no, just saying, "Oh, you were amazing." And then he started smiling again, and then the Slovenian guys came in. One of them was wearing his like big sleeve bolero. And he was just, I love you guys, and because he was pissing himself laughing, and it was nice. There seemed to be a lot of camaraderie amongst all the other acts this year.
Yeah. It seemed to be more like kind of there was one or two egos for me. France and Sweden were definitely the egotists, but the rest just seemed they were glad to be there. Even like even our UK act just seemed so. She just seemed so lovely. She had the talent of a horse, but that's actually an insult to horses. My apologies. But
horses are very talented.
Yes, they are indeed. Like, my wife watches Heartland, so I have to apologize for that.
Okay. But, to bring it nice, and because I'm feeling a bit bad about the insults I did earlier on, I think, sort of in conclusion, I think the most part everybody sort of did well, and it was a good show that was put on. Definitely.
I think the UK could hold its head high for doing what it did. As much as we would have liked it being Glasgow, Liverpool did a good job. All the presenters were great. There was nice little bits of comedy sprinkled in between. We had the classic Graham Norton patter, along with a skit bit about ordering pizza. Like that bit as well. And the acts all genuinely seemed to like each other and want each other to do well. No one wanted there to be an embarrassment. So
very true.
Got to give the juice. It's been one of the most enjoyable ones that I have watched, especially in the last I've been watching for about 25 years now. Definitely one of the most enjoyable ones in my recent memory.
That was definitely one of the better ones. Right, so just to sort of conclude, so our thoughts turn to Sweden next year, 2024. Obviously, they win the hosting rights to it, and that's of course then equal the record for the number of Eurovision wins, as well as obviously being the second person, the first woman to be the first person to win Eurovision more than once. So, question is, do we think Sweden is going to break that record next year, or do we think there's going to be some mitigating factors? Because other things to think about, Luxembourg is very much looking like they're going to be back in it next year, and they are the old grandmasters of winning Eurovision. They clocked up 5 wins originally, sort of back in the olden days. I think they're going to come back with a bang, is what I'm thinking about that. Also, his thoughts that Kazakhstan is going to enter. They were close to debuting this year. They have done junior Eurovision and done quite well. A lot of things are looking in their favour for next year too. So what we're thinking, do you think there's going to be some new kids in the block?
don't know about new kids, but I would imagine there'll probably be a couple of returning countries. I'd quite like to see. There's a couple of countries that haven't been in for a while. I'd like to see Slovakia and Bosnia and Herzegovina come back. Because they have brought out a couple of crackers over the last few years that they were in. I think countries we might not. Well, we're probably not going to see Russia again for a while.
That's
I think.
true.
I heard Belarus have got a lifetime ban from Eurovision because of political reasons. Turkey aren't planning on coming back anytime soon, and
they're too busy with teeth whitening.
Yeah, Hungary. I would really love to come back because some of their songs have been amazing, but it's getting too political there now, and Viktor Orban's a cunt, basically, a homophobic cunt.
Right, that is the only swear word that I will bleep out on this, because I always.
Weegie Warrior's channel. I think we're allowed it.
Yeah.
It's just don't feel bad though. Don't feel bad. It's not like me being like bad. It's just in case you do watch it back and you hear a bleep there. It's the only word that YouTube really takes a disliking to. The rest I'm usually fair game with. Because what Christopher knows, I swear like a Tourette's sufferer. Most of the time. Especially because I have to control it around the kids all the time. The C word's just the one that, in particular, I've had trouble with from YouTube previously. From it.
Fair enough.
So it's just so you don't get a shock if you hear a bleep.
Yeah, understood.
But no, I totally agree with you though.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
Yeah. So until Hungary votes out Viktor Orban, I think we're not going to see Hungary in there for a while, which is a shame because, as I say, Hungary have brought out some really amazing songs in their time.
Yeah.
Some are a bit underappreciated. And if I can say one last thing that might make me sound a bit political, I would love for, instead of just the United Kingdom, I would love Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and England to all enter separately.
I was going to say that. Do you think we'd have a better chance of it if Indie Ref 2 got its way and then we'd have our own entry in the Eurovision Song Contest? Do you think Scotland would hypothetically do better on its own?
Well, the only downside is we wouldn't be guaranteed. We'd have to fight in the semi-finals. That's the only downside. But I think if we'd have as much, if we put the effort in, we'd have as much chance as anyone else. And we've got a lot of talented singers in Scotland. And
there is it, and there's also a Weegie Warriors Flower of Scotland cover that could really go adapting well for the stage.
Bring it back to the channel, yes, absolutely.
Of course, we have to.
But also the plus side of having Scotland and Wales that you'd more likely to get songs in Gaelic and Welsh, which I think are languages that have never been sung in, well, certainly not in the adult Eurovision. I know Wales being they've had songs in Welsh, but they've not done well in the junior Eurovision. But anyway, so I don't really follow junior Eurovision that much. But
well, when they showed the junior Eurovision, I did ask. I was like, "What was that kid smoking?" Why he was wasn't he? Yeah, I think someone fed him some blue M&Ms. Well, I was looking at it, I'm like, kid, it's past your bedtime. Come on. But the only questions that I have about next year are twofold. One, is ABBA going to make some sort of appearance?
And
most definitely, like I say, 50 years since the one in 1974. Got to be.
And two, would you all be happy to come back to the Weegie Warrior next year for commentary like we've done this year?
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But can I just say a final thought? Sweden have hosted some of the best Eurovisions including my favourite was the 2013 one, and they did a great job hosting, and they did a great job hosting in 2016 as well. And the hosts of those, Petra Meda, I hope she comes back to do Eurovision again because she is an amazing host.
She's really good.
Yeah.
And for the sports fan in me, I would just love Zlatan Ibrahimovic to turn up and do something. He can practically do anything. So I would just love to see him just turn up and even just say, "I am Zlatan," and leave. I'd be okay with that. We had Kate on the piano this year. Anything can happen.
That'd be great if he slide tackle the piano. That'd be
Sorry, I don't know who is Zlatan. Is that
Zlatan Ibrahimovic? He's a Swedish footballer. He's played for played for a lot of big European countries. He's still playing for the Swedish national team. He's 41 now. And he's one of those guys that he plays like a caricature of himself. So he says so he'll walk into rooms and be like, "I am Zlatan," or he's kind of like the Chuck Norris of the footballing world.
That's true.
Essentially.
Okay.
So I would, and he is so beloved in Sweden. You would just love to see him just come on and just go, "I am Zlatan," and just leave.
Okay.
So apologies, I was not sure of that.
Oh, I know jack all about football, so I'll just nod and agree.
Right. That's okay. That's okay.
Well, I think that's all about all the time we've got for this podcast. Again, like I say, thank you, Andrew, for letting us take over Weegie Warriors for our little jaunt into Europe. Can you tell us a bit about what's sort of going to be coming up on this channel in the future?
Well, we're looking to get some more unsigned acts on. My long-term goal is to make the channel more about discovering unsigned acts in Scotland, maybe getting some demos, doing some reviews, giving them a bit more exposure, kind of like how we done with we done the tester for Owen Dolan as well. People really liked that. They liked seeing some original content, so we'll be looking to do something like that. I'd like to cover some more kind of independent festivals as well at some point. I'll be looking for probably a more regular host rather than myself, with the plethora of content that I've got, as you know yourself, Christopher, and all the editing that I do for it. But I'm just having this bring the channel back into the forefront was a no-brainer for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed editing your content. There was some new challenges for me. I really appreciated that you thought of me to try and get some stuff out there, and the fact we already had a little bit of a fan base on it meant that we weren't starting from zero as well. So thank you both very much. Ray, your knowledge is absolutely amazing. On Eurovision, couldn't have picked, and you're a lovely guy. Could not pick two better hosts to do it. And so thank you both very, very much.
Thanks very much for having me. It's been great fun.
Yep. And again, if Twitter and Instagram keep acting like gits, you're always welcome back here.
Fantastic. Cool. We'll sort of wrap that up. So, Ray, again, you're going to be doing the Fringe in the near future. Your fantastic show. Ray?
Oh. Am I back now?
Yeah, we're just plug in your Fringe.
Plug in your Fringe show.
Oh, yeah. It's 3rd to the 27th of August. Not Mondays. 6:10 in the City Cafe in the 90s room. I would love to see you all there. I haven't organised the spots yet, but I would really enjoy it if both of you would come on and perform. Yep. Especially, I'm hoping to do some improv specials. I did them last year. They were great fun. So I hope to do them again next year. This year.
Well, if you have a link for booking tickets, make sure to send them on, and we'll put the link in the description below, along with any other promotional material that we have.
Thank you very much. I'll send that on to you.
Speaking of which, you'll see myself and my wife on the fine Ginger Media Limited production, the Ginger Games board. staying in Europe just for a little bit longer, as the upcoming podcast is going to be my and Debbie's holiday special. So we're going to do We're going to do our usual board games, but with a little bit of a twist of traveling abroad. So check that out on the Ginger Games board, where you get the podcast. It's on the sort of Facebook links and the links. You can find the links to this YouTube channel.
Yep.
But thank you very, very much for downloading this podcast. Please download this and all the other Ginger Media Limited family podcasts. They really are absolutely splendid. I'm not just saying that because Andrew's staring at me. Gentlemen, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me for this. It was great. Thank you.
Right. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.